that's right for you. What if it's your needs? Call Humana now.
Hey guys, welcome back to Charles Humana.
It's just one of the ways that Humana is making healthcare simpler. And when you call, a knowledgeable licensed agent producer can answer any questions you have and help you choose the plan that's right for you. The call is free and there's no obligation. You know Medicare will cover all your medical costs. So call now and see what happens. Just might be the answer. So here we go, Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, waiting on his update. FEMA's going to give an update as well. So stand by. It will be the latest information we have for folks here in Florida and other parts north. All right. Dana, that's it for Orlando.
Let's get a little political news as well. President Trump is making the Biden-Harris hurricane response a key issue in the election. Today, he will campaign in Biden's hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Brian Ennis is there. The slide I read.
Hi, Daniel. Today, President Trump's 7th visit to Pennsylvania in just the last month. We'll talk about the economy and his speech here in Scranton before he heads to Reading, Pennsylvania. This as the former president continues to make the Biden-Harris administration's response to these hurricanes a political issue. Trump posting on Truth Social, quote, the worst response to a storm or hurricane disaster in U.S. history with another one coming. Our country cannot withstand 4 more years of these incompetent fools. The whole world is laughing at us. It's a toss-up here in Pennsylvania. Fox News polls show Harris has a 2-point advantage, but on the most important issue, the economy, voters say they trust Trump more than Harris by 6 points. Trump's visit comes as the Wall Street Journal reports Democrats are privately growing worried about Harris' standing among working class and union voters. Here's the president of the Teamsters Union who put it more bluntly.
I'll be honest with you, I'm a Democrat, but they haven't for the last 4 years and 4 months. And not all, but for us, we're standing up as a union, probably the only one right now, saying, look what you've done for us. And I'm getting attacked from the left.
60% of the Grant members said they were for Trump, yet union said not for the first time in nearly 30 years. Dan?
Brian Ennis, thank you. That'll be interesting today. No doubt, most vice presidential nominations and campaign events in Bastrop, Arizona today. Early voting is kicking off there in Richardson as well as Scottsdale, Arizona. More
Hey, good morning, Dana. Well, the 2024 election has arrived here in Arizona. It does become some hours for early voting, in-person voting begins here in the state. It is the first swing state to offer early in-person voting to open up their polls. Both presidential candidates campaign marking the occasion here with a pretty public set. We've got vice presidential candidates, J.D. Vance, Senator from Ohio, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Both landed in Arizona last night. Both are holding campaign rallies for about an hour and southeast of here in the side. Before landing in Arizona, Walz was a fundraiser in California where he advocated replacing the Electoral College with a national popular vote. Vice President Kamala Harris is scheduled to mark early voting in Arizona tomorrow with an event in Phoenix. The campaign says that is her 9th trip here. First Lady Joe Biden will campaign for Harris Friday in Yuma, Phoenix Saturday, and Sunday former President Trump hosting her Alaska Valley. Newly released AARP show shows a narrow race here. Trump leads Harris among voters 49%, 3% undecided, 1% supporting candidates here. Plenty of other states. Dana?
All right, so they want to moderate this, and thank you for joining us. And we are awaiting 2 major storm updates. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and FEMA are both supposed to speak shortly as Hurricane Milton charges closer to shore. Forecasters are warning this will be a catastrophic level storm when it makes landfall overnight along Florida's west coast. Welcome to Executive Hour of America's Newsroom. I'm David Marino, and hi to you, Bill.
Hey, Dana, good morning to you. I'm Bill from the line here in Orlando. About 100 miles due east of Tampa, Florida, but the entire part of the state is going to get flat starting later tonight. As we track this storm, right now, 155-mile-an-hour winds, Category 4 storm. We've got a track that we're watching, Dana, somewhere between Clearwater near Tampa and down to Fort Miles. And at some point, somebody's going to feel the effects of this monster out there that is Just look at the size of this. Remember we were in studio yesterday, Dana, and Janice was with us, and Jamie was talking about the eye of the storm and how perfectly formed it was. It was almost like a pin right there. But overnight, it tended to change its shape a little bit. So the storm is shifting somewhat, still moving east-northeast, but really, we're not going to know who's going to take that ball until Milton picks up its mind. In the meantime, from Naples to the southern end of that cone is Kendall Smith. I'll watch weather watching things from there. What do you say?
We're located in the Golden Gate area, just off of I-75 and Pine Ridge Road, and things are very busy, to say the least. Temperature now we're in the low 80s, it's overcast, it's gloomy, and it's muggy. We've been dealing with tropical downpours all morning long, and really right now, what's interesting is that we're dealing with a break in the rain. Those outbreak bands from Milton, they're sweeping away on the shore. As they do so, they produce very intense spray rain. So this downward, picking up 1 to 3 inches of rain within some of those heavy downpours, and it also has potential there for these thunderstorms to produce quick spin-up tornadoes or water spouts. In fact, as of right now, we have 2 active tornado warnings in effect just to the east of us here in Naples. 1 tornado warning, which was just to the east about an hour or so, did include portions of Collier County, as well as Broward County. That was confirmed. It was moving over nation. Now it's since been allowed to be brought back down, if you will, by National Weather Service to a radar indicated tornado warning. So what that means is that we're watching areas of the station bringing its way onshore to hurricane bands, and that's the big concern now through the next few hours. And so as we're here in Naples, it's got a little potential for rotation, but also what we see right here, we've got flooding that's already great, and this is all ahead of Milton arrival later tonight. Biggest issue though here in Naples is going to be storm surge, perhaps up to 8 feet high by the time Milton crosses the shore.
Kendall, thank you. Naples Storm, we'll be in touch. Thank you very much. We're watching the storm here. And you can follow us in the Fox Weather app too. It is live there 24/7. And you think about the storm for a moment, how big it is. It is moving east-northeast at 16 miles an hour. That may not sound like a lot to you if you're driving a car. But this size, with that amount of forward, where she's at 12 hours ago, that speed of the literally, you can ask different meteorologists about what's better, but last night when we went to bed, it was going 8 miles an hour. The one thing I think
Strange light is floating over the lake.
is for a storm to
Maybe
stop
it'll appear tonight, too.
because it creates massive problems. Nonetheless, at 16 miles an hour, it's going to bring that storm surge that's going to crush some town sometime in the next 12 to 16 hours. Bruce Richter is the mayor of Clearwater across the bay from Tampa. And sir, good morning to you. Thank you for your time. And listen, you're one of those towns that could take this hit. What are you thinking? What are you seeing now, sir? But we're as prepared as we can possibly be. We had a significant event 2 weeks ago, and unfortunately on Gary Island, Clearwater Beach, San Key, and Island States, that gave people a sense of seriousness about this storm. So we believe we've evacuated almost everyone from our Gary Island to Clearwater. And our emergency operations team was set up in our center. Well, everybody evacuated. I don't know, A, if you've ever seen that before, and B, how many people would that be, Mayor? It's thousands. We're one of the top vacation tourist destinations in the entire country. So, because of the lead, we had a lower population. Dedicated to responding to help our fellow Floridians and being there. My apologies. Here's the governor on DeSantis.
Florida weathers this storm and emerges stronger on the other side. We are prepared and we will respond. I've spoken to the president. We remain in regular contact with FEMA, and we are marshaling all available resources to be able to prepare and respond to Hurricane Milton. I also want to thank the 20 other states who are assisting Florida ahead of the storm. This is just what we as Americans do. We've had opportunities to help other states in the past, including most recently Western North Carolina, and I think it shows the spirit that these states are stepping up and providing really valued support. We still have a state of emergency for 51 Florida counties. Hurricane Milton is still a major, very strong hurricane. It's currently a Category 4 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 155 miles per hour. That is just a whisker shy of a Category 5. And while there is the hope that it will weaken more before landfall, there is high confidence that this hurricane is going to pass a major punch and do an awful lot of damage. As you can see behind me, the Florida Division of Emergency Management is fully deployed, fully active. This has been a footing now for over 2 weeks, given both of these storms. The state is actively fulfilling over 1,500 missions. We've delivered massive amounts of supplies, meals, water bottles, sandbags, tarps, generators to be able to help our local communities respond to this storm. We've also deployed more than 11,000 feet of flood protection systems and erected around critical infrastructure like hospitals, wastewater treatment facilities, and electric infrastructure. Generators have been deployed at shelters and to support sheltering operations. Starlink internet has been deployed across the entire state of Florida. We have served an additional 600 ambulances, and they are currently in operation helping in the effort. The state has considerable fuel reserves that have built it and it's staged, and they will be utilized as needed following the storm. We've already dispatched a lot of fuel in the lead up to this, but we still have on hand 1.6 million gallons of diesel and 1.1 million gallons of gasoline. There is no, right now, fuel shortage. However, demand has been extraordinarily high, and some gas stations have run out. To be able to help ameliorate that, the Florida Highway Patrol has facilitated 106 long-distance fuel tanker escorts with sirens, getting through traffic, totaling almost 1 million gallons of gasoline from ports in Tampa, Jacksonville, Everglades, and Manatee, and they are continuing with the fuel escorts as we speak. In contact with the ports on the west coast of Florida. We'll see how this storm impacts those. Clearly, there's a chance that you could have a major impact on Port Manatee as well as on Port Tampa Bay. That could interrupt their ability to receive fuel shipments. And so we're working on contingencies to be able to keep fuel flowing throughout the state of Florida. As we saw this new storm develop, it was clear that a lot of the hardest hit areas on the west coast of Florida from Hurricane Helene had not had major, robust debris removal contracts in place or operations in place. Some of these contractors were good, some of them were not getting the job done. So you had a major hazard on barrier islands in Pinellas, Manatee, and Sarasota County. So this weekend, I authorized mandated 24/7 debris removal. We took all the Florida Department of Transportation and other agency vehicles, brought them from all across the state, and they're engaged in other missions as their normal course of business, and dedicated it to debris removal. So in a little over 48 hours, they were working all through the night, the wee hours of the morning in places like Manatee, Sarasota, and Pinellas. They were able to remove 55,000 cubic yards of debris. So that's over 3,000 truckloads of debris. And it's our estimation that on those barrier islands, they were able to make a dent in the debris and reduce it by about 50% just from what Jared Purdue and the other agencies were able to get done. So I want to thank everybody that's been involved in that. It did not stop since this weekend. We're now in a position where it's likely the conditions are going to deteriorate, and so we're going to have to wind that down. But they did make a difference, and there will be less damage from this storm.
Give me some accessories, man.
Otherwise would have been. The Florida Department of Transportation is staging the following assets ahead of the storm: 156 bridge inspectors, 328 cost personnel, and over 1,500 pieces of heavy equipment. Florida National Guard, Florida State Guard, Florida Fish and Wildlife, and the Florida Highway Patrol have activated additional personnel in advance of the storm. We have hundreds of state search and rescue personnel on hand, 26 total teams. They are currently embedded in the potential impact sites along the West Coast to begin immediate rescue operations as soon as the storm passes. The National Guard is deploying 6,000 Florida National Guardsmen as well as 3,000 National Guardsmen from other states. So we thank for the support on that. We have 34 search and rescue have been brought in from other states. We have 500 tactical vehicles, including 189 water vehicles, aerial, water, and ground National Guard search and rescue teams. This is the largest Florida National Guard search and rescue mobilization in the entire history of the state of Florida. Our Florida State Guard is also deploying almost 200 soldiers, 10 maritime crews, 3 high-water UTVs, 2 UH-60 Blackhawk helicopters, 4 drone teams, 15 cut and toss crews, 2 amphibious rescue crews. I want to thank them. This was just a dream a couple years ago that they would be involved, and a lot of good enough. But they have made a huge difference in this hurricane season. They're going to continue to do it here. We have also worked with the utilities to have the largest staging of utility workers in line in advance of the storm any time in American history. We will have in Florida, by the time the storm arises, over 50,000 linemen. And those linemen are being brought in from places as far away as California. So as soon as that storm passes, you're going to see the assessments and the power restoration efforts commence immediately. Additionally, the state of Florida has assisted with the evacuation of 352 healthcare facilities in the potential path of the storm. 16 hospitals have been evacuated. The state veteran nursing homes are currently located that are in the cone, are all accepting families of their residents to shelter with them. All of those are hurricane-proof. All of them are outside of flood zones, so if you do have a family member that's in one of our state nursing homes, you can go and you can shelter with them. That's a safe option. I know the veterans would appreciate it. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement is directing deployment of additional 500 out-of-state law enforcement officers. These officers will help respond after the storm to maintain law and order. And there's going to be a lot of damage from the storm. There's going to be opportunities for people to try to take advantage of that. My message to you is don't even think about it. Hard on you. You're not going to regret that you tried to do that. So I appreciate all the other folks from out of state who are coming in to supplement this effort of me to maintain law and order. FDLE's mutual aid team is managing more than 70 active law enforcement missions, including 25 post-storm response squads, coordination. So we're preparing for this. We're still recovering from Hurricane Helene. When Hurricane Helene hit, we reactivated the Florida Disaster Fund. We are now accepting donations to the Florida Disaster Fund for both storms, both Helene and for Milton. This is a private fund affiliated with the state in terms of disaster, but it's tax deductible donations. We distributed $63 million after Hurricane Ian to help people largely in Southwest Florida. This is something that is really, really important. So I've directed Volunteer Florida to keep the fund activated for Hurricane Milton. I want to thank, there's already been millions raised for Helene. I want to thank Lennar, Wells Fargo, Walmart, and Publix for making really significant donations. And I know there's going to be a lot more that are going to want to do it. To contribute to the Florida Disaster Fund, you can text disaster to 20222, disaster to 20222, or you can visit floridadisasterfund.org. So now we're bearing down to where the storm is going to arrive within the next 24 hours. You still have time to evacuate if you are in an evacuation zone, particularly if you're in Kennedy, Sarasota, Charlotte, those areas. I mean, this trap can bounce around. It's not guaranteed it's going to hit there. A lot of the solutions haven't going there. You have time to do that now. Conditions aren't going to be great today. I would say that the roads and the interstates are flowing. We've raised holes, we've done all that what people can do. But the best option would probably be just to evacuate within your own county to one of the shelters. All those counties have multiple shelters that are open. There's a lot of space in those shelters right now, and it certainly would be safe to do a very short evacuation, tens of miles, rather than get on the interstate. The roads are still open. People can do that, but I just want to warn people that if the conditions are likely going to continue to deteriorate throughout the course of the day. We had, of course, on Monday, when the initial evacuations were coming down, particularly in the Tampa Bay area, had a lot of traffic on I-4 and on I-75, and DOT did the emergency shoulder plan. That helped, but it was slow, and those roads can be very slow anyways. By the time we got to the end of the night, through the wee hours of the morning, it was going pretty quickly. Yesterday was not as bad on those roads as it was on Monday. So what we did see is Alligator Alley down in southern Florida was about 150% of its normal capacity. And I think that's because as people saw the storm potentially bending a little further south, and a lot of people in Southwest Florida decided to evacuate across the state. And so that's that. The roads now are good, but I would just caution the conditions are not great now, and they're likely going to get worse as the day goes on. Of course, we do have a lot of mandatory evacuations in place. If you want to get a hotel, you can go to visitflorida.com/Priceline, Expedia.com/Florida. That is the emergency accommodation module. That is there. I'm sure we might be able to in a lot of these places at this point, but if that's something that you're interested in, you can try that. Of course, we've worked with the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association for distress rates for hotels, as well as waiving pet fees. And I know a lot of the hotels in the state of Florida have responded very positively for that, so I just want to thank them for doing that. We've also partnered with Uber for Hurricane Milton to provide free rides to and from shelters and counties with active evacuation orders. So if you want to utilize that, you go to the ride, you do the promo code built-in relief, just one word, built-in relief. Star has activated crisis mode, which provides free crisis assistance services and in-vehicle data for Chevy, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac owners. Schools, most of the school districts in the state are closed today.
What happened? I need to go back.
But in that Florida Peninsula, virtually all school districts are closed. All Florida counties and Miccosukee and Seminole tribes are assisting the state with storm response. I want to thank all those for their great work. We have 149 general population shelters that are open throughout the state. The current total shelter population is just 31,000 individuals. We have room in those shelters
Ha 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 ha.
almost 200,000
That's too cute.
individuals. So there is space available in these shelters. I know a lot of people rather stay in a hotel, stay and that's fine. But especially now as the storm's getting closer, you may be able to drive 10 miles into a shelter, ride the storm out, and be able to go as you see fit, and hopefully you'll be able to get back to your place very quickly. But space is available. So there are 36 special needs shelters that are open and operating in counties that are at the top of the storm. Schools and other facilities are now also being used as supplementary state-supported shelters across the state. The state of Florida has now opened 6 state-operated supplemental shelters. They not ultimately be needed, but you have a lot of people in the evacuation zone that if people decided to just leave and find something on their own, we still have a lot of room in the traditional shelters, but out of an abundance of caution, we wanted to open an additional option. So the 6 state-operated supplemental shelters currently are Hard Rock Event Center, 5223 Orient Road in Tampa, City Furniture, 3205 South Frontage Road in Plant City, Daycare, 1802 North Del Mabry Highway in Tampa, Life Science Logistics, 310 North Galloway Road, Lakeland, Babcock Ranch, 43281 Cypress Parkway in Punta Gorda, the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Camp, 3021 Sports Coast Way, Wesley, Chapel, Florida. That site also has capability to service special needs individuals. Is also working on setting up a 7th site. Now those state-supported shelters, they do have generators, power. If you have Starlink with those, they've got Starlink internet. So look, it's not the Four Seasons, but there are some things there that will make it tolerable to be able to get through the next 24 to 36 hours. You can find those shelter options at floridadisaster.org/shelters. You can also find your county's EM page at floridadisaster.org/counties, floridadisaster.org/counties. So people have time now to evacuate if they are in the area of an evacuation
This
zone.
looks like the
We
worst
see
of
the
these
storm
things.
is a very strong Category 4.
Terrible.
Say from the beginning,
There is
the
no time to
prognostications are it's
We
likely
have
going
to
to
get to the
weaken
priest
before
of
it
light
gets,
as
but it
soon
may
as
not.
possible.
Even if it does weaken, it's still going
Wendell
to
is in
be
danger.
a major impact. So you still have time now to take decisions to protect yourself and your family. Massive amounts of space at these shelters. The roads are flowing. Conditions are going to get bad, so you just got to be very careful with that. But certainly these shelters are a very live option. I want to just finally thank everybody. When you have these emergencies with a major hurricane, it's a huge deal. We spin up all state agencies, everyone here.
Okay, so a lot of information there. Let me just tick off the top line numbers there. He began by saying that 51 of the 67 Florida counties are on emergency orders. 20 different states across the country have offered assistance. We'll gladly take that. I've got 155 shelters that can house up to 200,000 people. Some of the shelters can house special needs individuals. Starlink's been deployed. Bridges will close in Pinellas County. That is like St. Petersburg heading to Tampa. That'll happen this afternoon. There's a lot of debris on these barrier islands on the west coast of Florida that were left over from RELINK. This has been a major concern in Florida for several days now with this storm developing. They're very concerned about this debris becoming like flying missiles or projectiles that could be very dangerous during the storm. With regard to fuel and gas, in the Tampa-St. Pete area a moment ago, we were told close to 60% of gas stations are out of gas. That's according to Gas Buddy online. And Disney announced about 10 minutes ago that it will close at 1 o'clock today for the 12th time in its history. And if you look, Dana, at the number of times that Disney's closed, it is hurricane after hurricane after hurricane. COVID's in there too, but it's largely because of hurricanes that have hit the Sunshine State.
Indeed, and you sit here, right now you're looking at Key West. That's the southernmost point of Florida, so that's not even really in the considered to be where that's going to get hit the most. So, Bill, you're in Orlando, that's about 100 miles east. But we'll see how this coastline takes a hit overnight, and then we'll see where you go from there.
Yeah, you got it, Dana. You know, look at that radar here. You got these bands of rain that are leading the storm. It's almost like a fullback trying to block for the running back, leading him through the hole. And those are the bands that we've been experiencing in Orlando. But this is just a small little taste of what we're in for, really, overnight tonight and for most of the day on Thursday.
I'm not sure I got the sports metaphor, but when you're back, you're walking through it. So you're there in Orlando for us. We have one other story we want to get to. Is in focus as President Biden is reportedly getting on a high-stakes call with the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu today. Former Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice joins us. Our story begins 65 years ago inside an abandoned chicken coop where our founder discovered her retirement insurance.
I was on my way to Wendell, but
So she said no to this
walking off
injustice
Cascade Gap.
and yes to transforming lives.
Oh,
It's this drive, this compassion that inspired AARP.
Huh?
Today we empower people to choose how they live
ferry
as
up the
they age. As a wise friend,
Oh,
here's
that's what the light over the forest was.
better health, financial security, and stronger
Sounds like things are getting interesting around here.
Join us and you can
So,
Check
what's
out
your
this
business in Wendell?
system. Now that you can
Oh,
replace those
yeah.
Sounds
like you had a rough. Me? Oh, I'm direct. A soldier from Los Angeles.
Now you can get access to any of them. Yes, you join one thing created to support your own weight loss approach, including the low-carb diet. No matter how you want to lose weight, Nutrisystem has a solution for you. Get today's special offer and see what's new with Nutrisystem.
Duran, hey,
Going
you're
live
up.
right now.
Pull yourself
People
together.
diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. That's why we've offered a free book about mesothelioma for over 10 years. Mesothelioma is really all we do. Call it the 552 or go to meso.com. Look at the city little sailboat.
I'll break you like a dry noodle.
With our silver spoons leading up to financial failure.
Hey, Jerry,
What would become? It is rubber with gold and others
about time I took you down a peg, Bruiser.
idle cash unlimited without the book. Cruiser has every time and shape. Able to send chaos. Merciless chaos.
Here's my case. Switch Google to DuckDuckGo on all your devices. DuckDuckGo comes with a built-in search engine that's private and doesn't spy on your searches. And DuckDuckGo lets you browse and browse, but good luck.
We have our new champion,
There's no catch. Free.
You've come far in your training, lad.
Join in the
Duran, soldier from Bolsena,
by
kingdom
downloading
of the
DuckDuckGo
flames.
all your devices
His
today.
father Loki, the Golden Knight and friend to the hero King Richard, went missing when the young soldier was but a child. His mother succumbed to sickness and grief, leaving him and his younger sister Wendy to their aunt Stella. Like his father before him, the boy could not deny the pull of the blade.
Democrat,
From a young age, he had shown all other swordsmen,
which is why
and
as a good
eventually
American, I'm
came
going
to
to
be
do
of
two
service
things.
to the king
Going to vote.
himself.
I'm going to buy gold from Rosalind. Buying gold from Rosalind helps protect me against runaway inflation and all that paper money being printed around the world by unstable governments. Whether you want new or old gold or premium collector coins, Rosalind has them all. What you order is what you get. There's no nonsense, no hassle.
Hang in there. The next shift is on its way. I'll do one more round in the meantime.
Free gold kit, free silver kit, and free IRA kit with smart ways you can transfer or roll over your IRA. Call 800-630-8900. 630-8900. 800-630-8900.
Off to slay some dragons. Fearsome beastmen, dragon warriors, strongest of its kind. Go on. Your Highness and I are friends. Now, take care of your mother and sister while I'm gone. Understood, son? Madam, your husband. He took a
Want coffee?
causing both him and the dragon lord to fall into the depths of the abyss. My men and I searched the area but to no avail. We could not find Loki.
I see.
Who knows you're here?
As the Golden Knight,
Are you lying?
the very end. Are you sure that's what
Don't tell nobody you're here. Nobody. Okay?
Simone, my lady.
I'm scared. I'm good. I think you've gotten lucky a couple of times, and I'm not gonna just grab this one. You're good. I have flashlights as soon as I get my shutters up and my sandbags.
Stella, how could you let your illness go untreated for so long, Simone? If Loki knew I was ill, he would have neglected his duties for my sake. I just couldn't hold him back.
Really just rush that part of the state.
You are such fools.
Stella, still here in North Carolina.
My children, please, Simone. They will not ever. You are my
Simone? Fairfield, North Carolina, which is about 20 miles due west of Boone, North Carolina. And Madison, where you have it?
Good morning, Bill. So 2 weeks after we basically destroyed our this one, it's really the focus has been cleanup and recovery. And right now,
Just sleeping on the job.
the only people that you really see are girls, volunteers making out food and water, and people trying to clean up their homes and businesses.
Don't give
Guess
in.
what? This was an antique shop. It was been in business for 35 years. And I want to bring in the sales director, Olivia Gailey.
What's that?
Olivia, walk me through the day that the flooding was the worst of the worst here and what you guys had to do. We were up, this is my apartment across the street. We were up there watching the river just come down, and within like probably about 15, 20 minutes, it was just about knee deep, and we just ran and got out as soon as we could. You know, we're looking at some of the destruction to the building here right now. Windows broken, there's mud, we can see some of the antiques off to the side. What's next for you guys and for the store? We just started our rebuilding process yesterday. We had such great support.
You are sharper than you look.
In the beginning of the recovery process,
The fact that you are considered the best fighter in this miserable castle. I think it's time I show you how powerless you really are.
No more talking.
What senile old fool would entrust the security of the castle to a child? Oh, my apologies. You work for the king, do you not?
What? Don't you dare insult His Majesty!
Now the finishing blow.
Someone infiltrated the castle. Find them!
Seems you'll live another day. No matter. If all the king can boast is soldiers of your caliber, we can take this kingdom anytime we choose.
Israel today, the new head of the was filmed last week. He was expected to replace Hassan Nasrallah. Right now, as former Secretary of State, Condoleezza Rice could not have a better guest on this issue. Before I do that, just want to segue about the storm. Joe Biden made a decision yesterday.
An unknown wizard managed to penetrate our defenses.
To Germany and Angola. The decision.
Duran was the only survivor.
Witnesses say the man was wearing a orange cloak. Has to be the Altinus.
Yes, I think the president's probably
A crimson wizard.
And you remember, of course,
You mean Altina sent a
remember,
spy?
very well. And these things are really, really difficult. And nobody
We should mount a
expects
full-scale attack on their forces before they sneak in again.
The
Who's
wonderful
with me?
place to see if neighbors helping neighbors. That's the soul of the American way. So, Benjamin
There is no definitive proof that Altina sent the intruder. Nor would they have reason to attack our kingdom in the first place. Cannot act rashly. Whoever attacked last night our defenses. Some of our best soldiers. If we act hastily, we could fall into our enemy's trap. First, we must strengthen the castle and increase the guard.
The first
Then
leader
we
is
shall
pretty
send our
good. The
own
second is
spies into
not
our
so good. The
territory.
third's not very good at all. And so I think this is a smart strategy. Hezbollah, after the 2006
Why would
war,
some
which I
people
negotiated
obtain
these
a
nations
technical Sena of all places?
Hezbollah rebuilt over the last several years. Threatened some Israeli border, and so I think it makes sense. Israel's going to do everything they can to weaken Hezbollah. And by the way, in doing so, they also weakened Iran, which largely fights through its proxies, although recently they've done direct attacks. And so here is a question about this thing. This call for number 2 is
You're
Vice
wearing
President Harris
a
yesterday
jacket.
talked
You
about
should
Iran
be
as
in
a great
bed, silly.
Which foreign country do you consider to be our biggest adversary?
I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran. Iran has American blood on their hands. Okay?
Are you listening
This
to
attack
me?
on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. There are some who would say, yes, Iran, but also China.
Stop whining. Listen. I hate you.
Yes, we have a lot of adversaries. I do think that Iran is the problem place. There's no doubt about that, and they do have a lot of blood on their hands. It's also true, though, that China, which is in many ways our quote equal in technological capability, increasingly militarily, economically, as an overall threat, probably there. And of course, Vladimir Putin's not off the page either, and so those countries and their little alliance to try to make life miserable for the United States and push us out of international leadership. There are plenty of threats to go around. It's announced today that President Biden is going to have a call with Benjamin Netanyahu, and they've made, and neither of them have made it any secret that they have tensions between the two of them. And part of me, even though they can say we are allies, and I'm sure you can remember and tell us stories about having an ally that you can get frustrated with, but, I mean, do you have an opinion on whether the United States should say, let Israel do what it needs to do, even if it has to do with oil facilities or nuclear sites in Iran? The most important thing is I don't think we ought to have those discussions in public, right? It doesn't help anybody to speculate on what the Israelis might do against Iranian oil facilities or against nuclear sites. We would have been pretty ticked off if during our attacks on Afghanistan to dislodge Al-Qaeda, we had somebody all day talking about what we might do. And so I hope this call goes well. The Israelis are in the middle of a war. I think you support your allies in the middle of the war. When you have concerns, it's fine to tell the ally that. We had a lot of concerns in 2006. We did not want to go in on the ground in Lebanon. President Bush was on the phone with me. Steve Bannon was on the phone with his, the National Security Advisor. I was on the phone. We never read about it in the New York Times. And so this is a time to absolutely apprise the Israelis of our concerns. But to do so. Do you ever look back on that time and think that the Israelis should have gone ahead? Looking back, I mean, I think a ground incursion in Lebanon, as we're seeing, is a very dangerous thing. It's different, a level of warfare. And I actually think that the resolution there, where we did not, by the way, call for a ceasefire for several weeks until Israel had really damaged Hezbollah, so much that Nasrallah in 2008 apologized for having started that war. I think that status quo lasted for maybe 10, 12 years. So, no, I don't think at that time it made sense. But Hezbollah coming out this time is like, well, the terror plot that we
People's lives are 99% ceasefire. But the rest of your future is always by your will.
The second in charge there is
to decide. We call that final 1%.
2021, and the FBI director said we have thwarted a terror plot.
Anyone can see you bear a great burden. That old bird set you on the right path.
Uncovered and stopped the plot before anyone was harmed. Terrorism is still the FBI's number one priority, and we will use it to protect the American people.
Would I trust my face to something like that?
I remember listening to you and President Bush.
I believe in strength. But I'll listen to what you have to say. Tell me how to become more powerful.
No need for
Afghanistan,
to become more powerful, you must head to Holy City Randall. The Priest of Light can teach you how to switch your
I worried a
paths.
great deal that our withdrawal from Afghanistan might actually increase the terrorist threat. It's also the case that withdrawal was so chaotic
Listen good.
that I'm not
Even a
surprised that some
fearless
people
fighter
have
like
no
yourself can eventually change to a better
And so, good for the FBI.
get out of my shop.
We have to remain vigilant because we are safer than we were on 9/11, but we are not safe. And this is just one of those reminders that fighting terrorism is a daily event, particularly for the Minutemen. It's time to transition between one administration to the next at a time that our country could be vulnerable. Does that worry you? It, of course, worries me that when we are in transition, foes might try to take advantage of it. It's the reason that I would really strongly suggest that there be some conversations, maybe even now, with presidential candidates about what we might expect, about how it might look. And certainly after the election, there needs to be a very serious and systematic transition. We didn't really have that between the Clinton people and the Bush people, not by anybody's fault, but we have experienced 9/11. now that we have that transition needs to be very systematic, and I think we tried to make it systematic between Bush and Obama. It's really important to keep that. The MVP under ice. Great to have you.
At last, the murderous Crimson Wizard is detonate.
Honey, thank you. Sit on
I won't let him get away.
She says hello.
I won't come back.
Great to listen to Dr. Rice. Let's call it on the run. That's what I heard from that. And more coming up. Meanwhile, we are 21 minutes away from the next update from the National Hurricane Center. Going to give us the latest coordinates on milk as people abandon their homes and their businesses, and milk now barrels toward Florida. Our next guest in a moment here stayed for Helene, but he is not sticking around this time, and he will tell us why.
Sorry, Wendy. Stella.
Your memory is an amazing
Really
thing,
am.
but sometimes it can start to slow down. But did you know Prevagen can help keep your memory sharp? The secret is the powerful ingredient Aboaquan, originally discovered in jellyfish and found only in Prevagen. In a clinical study, Prevagen was shown to improve memory in subgroups of individuals who were cognitively or mildly impaired. Stay sharp with Prevagen.
Take
Prevagen.
this
In
instead.
stores everywhere without a prescription.
This is the sword your father used when he was a young man.
Kamala Harris embraces and
Back in the
defends
day,
Squad
he
even
even won
after a
tournament
disgusting anti-Semitic
against the
comments.
young king himself.
Harris joined the Squad in sympathizing with
Now
anti-Semitic
be off.
anti-Israel protesters.
I'll explain the situation to Wendy, don't worry. Be sure to stop by the castle to see the king before you
She
leave.
stands with the
He's
Squad,
waiting to hear from
not
you.
with us. RJC Victory is responsible for the content of
you
this
know?
message.
I'm former Arkansas
Don't be
governor.
silly.
A lot of times
You
you
know your
can't
father.
control the amount of sleep
Of
that you're
course,
getting.
the son of
You
Loki
can't
would
fall
want to
asleep.
travel the
Tossing and
world.
turning all night.
I too.
You can't get
When
the
this
sleep
day
you
would
need to
come.
stay healthy. I know, it's
I've raised
scary.
you as if you were my
Unless you
own
use
son, after all.
Relaxing Sleep. Relaxing Sleep is a product
Thanks,
that's made from
Stella.
natural ingredients.
I'll be back.
It usually works from the
promise.
very first night you try. It helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. Earning your body those quality hours of sleep that it desperately needs. Hundreds of thousands of people have experienced the relief and benefits of getting a great night's sleep and get lasting sleep.
First time I took a rest, I slept. This worked. I could not believe it.
I
see you're planning a journey back.
Your Majesty,
Sleep faster, stay asleep
forgive
longer,
me.
and wake
It
up
was my weakness that allowed the enemy to escape so easily. I wish to atone for my mistakes. I cannot forgive the wizard for what he did.
Relaxing is
For the
drug-free and
first
not
time in my
addictive.
life, I was
So you can take Relaxing every night and never worry about side
he
effects.
insulted you, my
The best
king.
part is, it can start working from the very first night.
I do not plan to return home until he has answered for these
I wake up
crimes.
feeling
Cannot.
Being afraid to start sleeping
Acknowledged.
years away with
You
Relaxing
have
Sleep.
my blessing
Your
on
body
your journey.
and your mind. Our
Thank
company
you,
is so
Your Majesty.
confident that Relaxing will work for you. He's asked us to give away 1,000 bottles.
getting enough to go to sleep. Relax.
His resolve is truly admirable.
Get your risk-free bottle of Relaxing Sleep now.
His days are too proud.
Visit
He is
tryrelaxium.com.
just like his father at age.
That's tryrelaxium.com or call 800-898-9322. Thank you. Together, we've raised over $8 million to support those affected by Hurricane Helene. There's still time to join Fox Corporation in making a difference. Donate now.
I was making when I found out, I was sitting inside the window on the phone, talking with someone saying, I'm gonna lose everything. I have nothing. I might be dead. Fortunately, years ago, I thought that was possible. I really knew that was.
The border isn't just broken, it's shattered. Sex trafficking, fentanyl trafficking, and the cost isn't just in dollars. My daughter was murdered in her own room and left on the floor like trash. It's in lives. Anybody who is here illegally knows it will be protected. Where was my son's sanctuary?
Fox Nation.
This is really catastrophic, and I can say without any dramatization whatsoever, if you choose to stay
That's Tampa's Bear right there. Rim one. Pushing folks in for safety before Bill arrives, and the government families this hour as well. He lives at 10 to 20 miles just waiting in Elliott Governor's weather. He lives in St. Petersburg near the beach, but most of the rest of the state for got rocked around this time, though, for the first time. You moved to higher ground. I got to thank you for your time. You were telling me 7 generations of Clearwater. What was your experience in LA that convinced you to not sit this one out?
Our island that we live on specifically is never flooded. And when I saw the water get up to my front door and it was in every single house in the neighborhood, I was like, okay, maybe we made a mistake on this time. Just seeing the magnitude of the storm, I was like, okay, we got 50 outdoor, 2 hours away, a picnic truck, a big farm, we're getting out of here. Not gonna do this again. So it's a safe thing. A 3-year-old daughter, so I don't want to mess around with this storm, especially at something this size.
Yeah, you're doing the right thing. Dora, let's go 100 miles inland, and I think that there's 3 of you around there.
Yeah, it's my wife, our daughter, and then we have obviously the in-laws, my father and mother-in-law, but they've got a good farm, we're here, we're safe, they've got 100 animals, and we're safe to wait and dry. So we're really excited to be safe. We're not excited about what's happening in St. Pete right now. There's still so much debris all over the streets of St. Pete, and it is going to be an absolute devastation. There's so much stuff in St. Pete that's having been cleaned up, and that's really going to hurt marine life. It's really going to hurt just the entire area.
Did you get lucky with Helene, or what kind of damage did your home take?
So we got really lucky. We were fortunate enough, we live on the water over at St. Pete, and the water came all the way to our front door. Now, we're one of the higher houses in the neighborhood, but every Saturday, we hit all our houses, and we did not get water in the house. Not water in the house, but every other house in the neighborhood was damaged and almost whole. Really not good for the neighborhood, and this is just kind of, it's just bad because we're all in it together, but we're all trying to help each other. It's our homes that were just destroyed, and there's debris all over our front yards that are waiting for impact.
I think it was around 4 hours ago, you said you clear out of it, but it was 48 hours ago for the next hurricane center up the intensity of this storm as it spit off the peninsula of Mexico. I think that was really what shocked a lot of people. Was that the moment you decided that?
Yeah, my wife and daughter, they decided to leave 2 days ago when it started happening. I left yesterday, and I stayed behind. I gathered all the possessions, our passports, all the people really travels, our work, all that. Turned down. I got to move to my grandmother outdoor. And we're just trying to save as much as can't even read code. There's going to be some kind of wreckage and some kind of damage. It's going to be devastating.
Yeah, good luck to you. Yeah, I think that last year was so smart. You know, you go back to your home for one last time on a virtual tape, and you took the big pictures. They gave the those to you. That's to you and your family and your home. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Back to Dave.
Florida braces another destructive storm just 2 weeks after late. We're tracking Hurricane Milton as we wait for an update from the Hurricane Center as the apex. Right back.
I had to wait for 20 minutes to get gas. Everybody was just trying to get gas, so they were uncertain if they were going to be able to.
We saw it, and gas stations have been closed. We were able to find one in Pompano Beach that was still open.
Get 2 pairs and an eye exam for $79.95 at America's Best.
Getting at Verizon, every phone can be the new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence. Why? At Verizon, new and existing customers can get iPhone 16 Pro on us. Trade in any phone in any condition, only on Verizon. I take you, body, in sickness and in health, through good times, bad times, and all the in-between times, for as long as we shall live. These bills are crazy.
She has no idea she's sitting on a gold mine. She doesn't know that if she owns a life insurance policy $100,000 or more, she can sell all or part of it to country for cash, even a term policy. Even a term policy? Even a term!
Find out if you're sitting on a gold mine.
Just you wait, crazy wizard. I ain't gonna stop until I'm more than powerful enough to take you down.
With balance of nature,
You won't get away
feel
from
really
this.
good every day.
I will defeat
I
you.
can feel the benefits.
I started taking off some nature. It definitely has an impact on my life.
Great partner.
Get 35% off your first order at the first customer.
Duran, bested by the Crimson Wizard, nearly lost confidence in his skills. He set out for Holy City Wendell to gain the strength to overcome his failures.
Create a beautiful website in minutes with GoDaddy.
If you're shopping for a home, you could browse hundreds of listings to find homes with big drawings, or compare lot sizes all at once. Search Home Home to find space to grow. Home search
Wow.
the same again.
That sounds terrible.
This is like the grandma.
This wizard of yours wouldn't happen to be the Crimson Wizard, would he?
Wait. No.
I mean, he's part of the Alchemist Court, and I'm the heir to the throne. But don't get me wrong. I don't have anything to do with him. He's the jerk who drove me out of the kingdom. Well,
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize. Then, what's up with that wizard anyway? I mean, who is it?
But you know what? That's their loss. I'm gonna be
years back, he couldn't be magic either, like me. Our teacher, Jose, was at his wit's end. But then suddenly he was able to wield incredible power. Now the Crimson Wizard acts as the King's chief advisor. And to top it off, he doesn't even call me by my royal title. Can you believe that? Ooh, it makes me so
Incredibly powerful wizard, huh? Right. I'm gonna be the best swordsman in Valsay. He won't stand a chance.
First time ever on TV, including my standard size my bill, only $14.88.
In any case, I'm on my way to Wendell too,
We
so
have limited quantities
should
of
make
this
the
price,
travel
so
companion.
limit's gonna be 10, and once they're gone, they're gone. This got 10 cents.
Sure, buddy. Here's a renee.
You should be fine now.
Well, 77 cash out. You get a $100 gift card for both.
It won't be hard to find someone to fix this. But before we started Angie's List, different story. A lot has changed for us at Angie since then, but the issues facing homeowners are the same. And started at Angie.com.
75% of Americans have their social security numbers exposed in recent data breaches, and the threats are reported.
I'm impressed that you managed to travel this far by yourself.
I'm a soldier from Voltaire myself. Don't want to brag, but pretty good with a sword.
We are expecting
The monsters around here aren't so tough.
Hurricane Center to give us an update on
Let's head
hurricane.
to Wendell.
So,
So, I could take a break from
flooding,
you to find
catastrophic
you,
damage
right?
on the way. We were told it could look like Katrina. Plus, evangelicals make up more than 20% of presidential candidates are probably support critics. Also, we're going up to the White House, this time for labeling questions that we have as misinformation. They're all over us. The journalists, the citizens, everybody. Florida Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Kellyanne Conway, and my special round table of evangelical leaders.
It's still a major, very strong hurricane. It's currently a Category 4 hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 155 miles per hour. That is just a whisker shy of a Category 5. And while there is the hope that it will weaken more before landfall, there is high confidence that this hurricane is going to have a major impact.
Well, the governor went down. Governor DeSantis, he has attended to so many of those during his time here in Florida. He was speaking a short time ago about